Hello, y'all, and good afternoon. Welcome back to this section two. Letecia Start Day 8 versus JJ Stepmom. The detective is going to explain to you all the procedure and the way he taken, what did he do at the house, how he did it, when he did it, and all of that, okay? Thanks for watching.
Lightly spray over wherever we are trying to search for bloodstains. And we lightly spray over it because it will fluoresce, or it will chemiluminesce very quickly. And once we see the chemiluminescence, we'll try to photograph it. But what's most important is that we swab it and note it.
In terms of timing, is that important when you know that you're going to use Blue Star to when you start spraying it?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Timing, is that important when you're using Blue Star? Can you, mix the reagent and use it for 3 hours later? Is that important? Does it matter?
So there is a shelf life to Blue Star, but we are able to use it for, if we mix it when we initially get to a crime scene, we're able to continue using it throughout the duration of the crime scene, whether it be a day or not.
Okay. In People's Exhibit 448, again, what are we seeing here?
People's Exhibit 448 is another photograph from that same location. However, now I've slightly moved up to show in relation to where the doorway is, where I was standing.
People's 449.
This is another photograph of the rug, but it's taking facing southwest now. So it's just an additional angle of the stairwell and the rug itself.
And specifically with regard to those stairs, is there a difference how these stairs appear now versus the other photos that we've seen?
Absolutely. In the previous images, these stairs were dry and kind of a lighter shade, but now you can see that they're a darker shade. That is because I had sprayed Blue Star on these stairs, resulting in them being saturated.
People's Exhibit 450. What are we looking at here?
People's Exhibit 450 is a Blue Star photograph showing the chemiluminescence of the positive reaction with Blue Star, predominantly on the rug and slightly west of the rug.
And in terms of photographing Blue Star, are there anything that you encountered when you were there on February 3rd of 2020 that morning?
When it comes to photographing Blue Star, it is difficult to photograph because you have to manually control many settings on your camera that force a certain amount of light in for a certain period of time. So we have very high-powered cameras that we can adjust those settings to take photographs like this.
And would now be a good time to use your camera?
Absolutely.
Okay. We did see you walk up to the stand with the camera. Would explaining how Blue Star is photographed and using that camera be helpful for you in demonstrating that to the jury? Your Honor, permission for the witness to use his camera for demonstrative purposes only?
Defense.
No objection.
You may go ahead.
Now, Mr. Lewer, you started to explain the fancy settings of your camera. Can you explain that to the jury?
Absolutely. So what I have here is a Nikon D500 camera. And the reason we use these, like I said before, is that we can manually adjust many settings on this camera to take photographs that you normally wouldn't be able to on your cell phone. So we're predominantly concerned with three settings in general. The aperture, which if you look at the front of the lens here, that's the opening in which the light will come in. That's kind of like the pupil of your eye. We're concerned with the ISO setting, which is simply saying how sensitive the camera is to light itself. So if I have a higher ISO, that means photographs will appear brighter because it's more sensitive to light. And then additionally, when I take this lens off, being very careful, you can see here there's this mirror. There's going to be a shutter in here. That's what opens and closes when we're trying to capture a photograph. And the reason that is important is because we have to focus on the shutter speed of our camera. And what that means is if I have a very fast shutter speed, it means it opens and closes very fast, not letting much light in. But if I have the shutter speed open for a very long time, it allows more light to come in, meaning I can take photographs in the dark that are brighter, but that can also show the chemiluminescence of Blue Star. Additionally, I didn't bring it up, but the aperture is an additional way to allow light in, but for the purposes of Blue Star, it is predominantly the shutter speed that we are concerned with.
Now, what are the ideal conditions to even do this photography in?
With Blue Star, you have to have a dark room. It doesn't have to be completely dark, but to see a reaction, it has to be mostly dark. So with that being said, we have to have our camera settings allowing us to take photographs in the dark with very minimal light.
And
I apologize. I was going to say, but as you can see here in the bottom portion of this photo, you can see that there is some light. We have to have some light present within the scene to show what the conditions look like with the Blue Star chemiluminescence, because it doesn't really tell much if we have bright blue but nothing behind it to show what it's on.
can you walk the jury through the different areas where reaction is being observed here in People's Exhibit 450?
Absolutely. So this is at the base of the stairs leading to the laundry room in the garage. So this is along the south wall of the garage in the southwest corner.
And would you point that out on People's Exhibit 442 for the jury as well?
Like I said before, the upper half of this diagram is the main level of the residence. In the upper right-hand corner, that is the garage. You can see along the south or the bottom wall of this diagram that there are many blue dots. Each blue dot represents a Blue Star reaction that I had on my first visit on February 3rd. Going forward, the green dots will be my second visit and the purple dots will be my third visit. But I'm sure we'll get there.
So after you see this positive reaction in People's Exhibit 450, what is your next step?
When we have a Blue Star positive reaction, we have to consider the substrate that it's on, or what the Blue Star is reacting with. So in this case, we have a rug that we could easily collect. So we just collect that easily. However, if we have Blue Star reactions on a wall or floor, we can't collect the wall or the floor. So we'll have to collect a sample of that Blue Star reaction itself.
Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with People's Exhibit 451, and I will show it to the defense as well.
All right.
Mr. Lever, do you recognize People's Exhibit 451?
Could I handle it real fast?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I do recognize this.
How do you recognize it?
This is the rug that I collected from the base of those stairs. And the reason I recognize it is the label has the description of where it came from. It has my employee ID number as well as the item number. And then there are additional tape seals on the back with my initials and the date that it was sealed up. However, there are additional tape seals and markings on the rug indicating it has been examined by further lab personnel.
Aside from those differences that you pointed out, would you say that it is in the same or substantially same condition as when you last observed and collected it?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time, we would move for the admission of People's Exhibit 451.
Exhibit 451 will be admitted. Go ahead.
Now, after you note the reaction in People's Exhibit 450, what do we see now in People's Exhibit 400 and, went ahead of myself, Your Honor. Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with what has been marked as People's Exhibits 452 through 458.
Exhibit 452 through 458 will be admitted.
Thank you.
No objection to those.
I'll lay the foundation, Your Honor. Mr. Lewer, would you take a moment, familiarize yourself with People's Exhibit 452 through 458?
Absolutely.